to move from one village to the next, from one job to another, to avoid firm human ties and to follow a certain bohemian life in relations with women. Johann Georg Hiedler, Adolf's grandfather, was a wandering miller, plying his trade in one village after another in Lower Austria. 5 months after his first marriage, in 1824, a son was born, but the child and the mother did not survive. 18 years later, while working in Durenthal, he married a 47-year-old peasant woman from the village of Stronitz, Maria Anna Schickelgruber. 5 years before the marriage, on June 7, 1837, Maria had had an illegitimate son whom she named Alois, and who became Adolf Hitler's father. It is most probable that the father of Alois was Johann Hiedler, though conclusive evidence is lacking. At any rate, Johann eventually married the woman, but contrary to the usual custom in such cases, he did not trouble himself with legitimizing the son after the marriage. The child grew up as Alois Schickelgruber. Anna died in 1847, whereupon Johann Hiedler vanished for 30 years, only to reappear at the age of 84 in the town of Weitra in the Waldviertel. The spelling of his name now changed to Hitler, to testify before a notary in the presence of 3 witnesses that he was the father of Alois Schickelgruber. Why the old man waited so long to take this step, or why he finally took it, is not known from the available records. According to Haydn, Alois later confided to a friend that it was done to help him obtain a share of an inheritance from an uncle, a brother of the miller, who had raised the youth in his own household. At any rate, this tardy recognition was made on June 6, 1876, and on November 23rd, the parish priest at Düllersheim, to whose office the notarized statement had been forwarded, scratched out the name of Alois Schickelgruber in the baptismal registry, and wrote in its place that of Alois Hitler. From that time on, Adolf's father was legally known as Alois Hitler, and the name passed on naturally to his son. It was only during the 1930s that enterprising journalists in Vienna, delving into the parish archives, discovered the facts about Hitler's ancestry, and, disregarding old Johann Georg Hiedler's belated attempt to do right by a bastard son, tried to fasten on the Nazi leader the name of Adolf Schickelgruber. There are many weird twists of fate in the strange life of Adolf Hitler, but none more odd than this one, which took place 13 years before his birth. Had the 84-year-old wandering miller not made his unexpected reappearance to recognize the paternity of his 39-year-old son nearly 30 years after the death of the mother, Adolf Hitler would have been born Adolf Schickelgruber. There may not be much or anything in a name, but I have heard Germans speculate whether Hitler could have become the master of Germany